This episode is brought to you by BetUS.com. Go to BetUS.com and get yourselves a 125% sign up bonus using the promo code NinosCorner at BetUS.com. Folks, go download that BetUS.com app from your favorite Apple phone or Android phone and get yourselves a 125% sign up bonus using the promo code NinosCorner. This episode is brought.
What's going on, folks? Nick Battle, aka Nino's Corner, man. We're going to talk today about, man, look, Texas is building up that defensive line, basically through the portal, folks, through the portal, and also, just through straight up recruiting, folks. But folks, first off, let's talk about the first guy that I want to talk about. Satio Savea, man, coming from Arizona. He's following, Nansen over here. About 6'4", 305-pound guy. Sark understands the assignment. PK understands the assignment too as well. Look, we're going into the SEC this year, right? And going into that SEC, we have got to assure that we had to get SEC ready, just like Ed Blake says here, man. SEC ready. We need those trenches fortified, and that's something that this staff is doing here, and it's something that I love to see. But yeah, actually getting Savea, man, that's pretty big here for Texas, just for the simple fact that we've, of course, lost Murphy and Sweat. Both of those guys are going to the league. Probably the two best, tackles here, in the country. Murphy's been, mocked all over the place, like a mid-first round pick between picks 11 and 14. Sweat's also been a first-round mock too as well. Also some second-round mocks for him. But getting guys like that drafted pretty much shows that this staff can actually develop players. We'll talk about the coaches here in just a second. But look, we're losing two of our most talented players here in this team. Those guys are going to the league, and honestly, we need guys to either step up, and actually do great things here at Texas. And also get the depth here in this team. Texas lost Trill Carter. He's, I think, at Auburn right now. So we've got to replace, just some necessary talent here on this team, the interior and also on the edges as well. So once we look at the defensive line, you got Collins coming back. You got Broughton. He's coming back as well. Right. So those guys are probably going to be your starters. Right. And then just to back up, last year it would have been Trill Carter, but now you got Savea, and maybe Savea slides in and starts. Who knows? But we got him coming in as well. And then you look at a guy like, Aaron Bryant, who's also on this team. This would be his third year here in the team. You got some other pieces on this team, like a Sadir Mitchell, who's also coming back. And then also, you got some guys in this class that are already on campus, like a Alex January. We lost to DeAndre Robinson, and that's pretty much because of us not having the coach here in place and things of that nature. But also we got a guy like Melvin Hills, who's been in the show here, who's also going to be here in this summer time frame. So look, we got the pieces here. We need to fortify and get more pieces. If you look at that edge side of the house, folks, bringing back Sorrell and bringing back Ethan Burke and having, a Colton Vasek and, a Gillette, Colin Simmons coming in for 2024 is going to be very fruitful for us. But also on that line, folks, rebuilding that line, getting a guy like Trey Moore, from UTSA, to come in, who was the, no kidding, number one edge prospect, in a transfer portal. So Texas pulls him. And I think you're saying that Sark understands, man, that you have to, no kidding, fortify that defensive line to, to uphold and stand up to those powerful offensive lines that the SEC is going to bring. So Ed Blake says here, Sadir or January have to step up and be a true nose tackle. Exactly. We got to fortify that. And so in saying that about the portal, let's talk about what Texas has gotten, in its classes for the lines. So we'll talk about, in 25, we got a brand new commit. And this guy's name is Lance Jackson. If you guys know who Lance Jackson is or have heard of that Jackson name, his brother is Landon Jackson, who, if I'm not mistaken, was committed to LSU, and then he transferred over to Arkansas. This family is from Texarkana, so, Arkansas is pretty close to that city. But just looking at Lance Jackson, it's guys, he's a big kid, man. I'll share the screen. We'll look at the on-3 comparisons here. But per the on-3 comparison, Lance is, they have him listed at 6'5", 240 pounds. But he's really around 6'6", maybe 250 plus right now. And so you're saying that Steve Sarkisian and PK want some bigger humans on that defensive line. And he's a two-way star, man, plays offense and also defense as well. But this is going to be a dogfight between PK, and Coach Banks on where he's going to play. I mean, he's that talented. He's playing 4A ball right now. But I tell you what, once he steps up here to Texas, he is going to be a monster. But this is what Texas has to do. They have to do stuff like this because they need to bring in, guys in the portal, right? To kind of supplement the talent that is here on campus. But also, you need to also bring in those guys in your class that you're going to have to develop here for a year or two and make sure that they're ready to step here on campus and do good things. And that's going to be Lance Jackson. Now, Lance, he might come in, as a true freshman, especially if he gets to enroll early. If he can enroll early, he might step in as a true freshman in 2025, right? And get his body right in January. And then by the time fall comes around, he has a college-made body already, and he might be able to, not start, but he might be able to help, help get some snaps here on this team, especially at that edge position. But yeah, so Texas has to bring in guys in the portal. They must do that, but they also got to bring in guys that they can develop to assure that this line gets to where it needs to be, just in the future here for the SEC. And Lance Jackson is one of those guys. I'm going to stop sharing the screen here, but I want to actually share the screen and talk about his film. And I have his film up here, folks, and I bring that up. Let's see his huddle film, junior season huddle. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Let's take a look. So there we go. So there's this huddle film, guys, and you guys can see him, man. He's number 5 there. He's playing defensive end. He's also playing some tight end. You just see just the kind of athlete that this guy is. Look at him here as an athlete, plucks the ball out of the air and just does his thing. This is the positionless football that the staff always talks about. Just the versatility. Is that guys like this, if things happen and things happen in the rut, this guy might be able to be cross-trained pretty quickly to do something that he's always done or something that he's always wanted to do, but we've seen him do it, right? So he's a strong guy, just a very physical guy. One thing I did see, I actually saw him in an interview post his, him saying that he's coming to Texas, and he was asked what was his best move, and he said he didn't have any moves yet. He just, really uses his speed and he really uses his power, which is something that at that level, that's just Texas 4A ball. It's not 5A ball, it's not 6A ball, but he's a big fish in a small pond there. His QB is very small. Like as you can see, just some of these plays, he's not going to be playing with that caliber of player once he gets to Texas, but he also is not going to be playing against that caliber of player either. So the competition is really going to ramp up. But he's one of those kids that is a national top 100 player in the country, and everybody wants him. So he's going to be a guy that should flourish here with the right training and the right coaching here at Texas. Now, one thing I will say, just to make a comment about what he said, is that he doesn't really have a pass rushing move yet, like a go-to move, and that's something that's going to be taught here, at Texas, especially when they hire, the new coach here for the line. PK can also help out that, as well. Nansen can also help out with that as well. But these are things that you come to college, and if you're willing to be coached, these are things that he's going to be coached on and learn how to be a great player. So he's going to be a big, like mold of clay, right? That this staff is going to be able to kind of fine tune and, make him just a fortified and a true baller once he gets here to Texas. So those are things that we got to look at here. Is that, yes, he's not a pass rushing specialist yet. This is a guy that his potential is just outrageous. He has a relentless motor. You can see it here on the film. But once he learns how to get those great moves from the edge, that's what's going to help out. And you're going to see, like, a guy like him when he comes in 2025, and he'll have guys to look at, like a Colin Simmons, who we've seen has every trick in the book when it comes to rushing the passer. Colin Simmons is going to be a guy that is going to get a lot of snaps here at Texas in 2024. he's probably him and Trey Moore be guys that are probably going to be the best ready-made pass rushers here in this team. And if Colin Simmons isn't starting, he's going to have packages like we did with Anthony Hill, right? Where he was just a guy that we had packages for Hill, and we said he is just too talented to keep him off the field. And that's what Texas is going to see here with Colin Simmons, right? He's going to be just too talented to keep off the field. So you'll have him come in, and then you'll have Lance Jackson come in behind him, and he'll be able to learn moves from some of these players and the coaching that is going to be here too as well. So he'll be able to learn from Colin Simmons, and he'll be able to learn, from a Trey Moore. And Texas is going to be one of those schools where I think you're starting to see the prior players come in and kind of give back. It always helps when the team does well, because that's when people want to come back and attach themselves to the team. But you're going to see that. You'll see guys like a Tim Crowder who trains in the summer, just a lot of these kids. And he was a second round draft pick and one of the, just the greats here at Texas. He gives back and he trains guys too as well. So you're going to see that he's going to be able to get in this bag, especially when these guys understand that the talent is already there in him. It's just a matter of how do we get it out of him? And that's what Texas is striving to do. So in saying that, folks, Texas, yes, they are rebuilding that defensive line. They're trying to do it not only in the portal, getting guys like a Moore on the edge, and just making sure that that they fortify that line, but they're also getting guys who are coming as commits too. 2024 class looks good. Could be better, folks. Could be better. Does Texas try to get some more guys here in the portal here in the spring? Hopefully, but it's going to be it's going to be hard to get guys here without a D-line coach, right? And so I think that's one thing that Sark and his team they have to solidify that too as well, right? Getting a D-line coach, and I know that everybody has seen the reports that Rod Wright is not coming in as the D-line coach here at Texas. Either he turned it down, or whatever, but Texas has to assure that they get some kind of D-line coach. My personal opinion, it looks like Texas went all in on Rod Wright, because here it is 24th of January and we have no defensive line coach, right? So all signs kind of point to Rod Wright being that guy that Texas kind of circled in on, and for whatever reasons he's looking like he's not coming here to the University of Texas. But Wright, man, look, he's coaching the Texans, right? And this team just, lost in the second round of the playoffs, but he's, coaching the defensive rookie of the year, Will Anderson. And, Wright is from Houston, Texas, man. So, he'd be a great addition here at Texas. However, if he does decide to stay with the Texans, then, awesome opportunity for him to build to as well. They just fired their line coach, so maybe he actually takes that job there too as well. So, look, I say all that to say that looks like Texas went all in on Rod Wright, and I don't know if the staff had a backup plan because we don't have a coach here, and it's 24th of January. This could harm us here, because we already lost one guy because Bo Davis left. Actually two. We lost Robinson, we lost Caldwell too. Caldwell, went to Oregon, and I think everybody understands that the link to Caldwell here to Texas was Bo Davis. And so that harms us. We saw that Bo Davis was able to really develop players. We saw what he did with Coburn and also Ojimo as well. Those guys were looking to be guys that wouldn't be drafted. And he got those guys drafted. I think the 6th round for Coburn and the 7th round, for Ojimo. And this year, man, Sweat and Murphy, those guys had all the talent, right? But it just hasn't come out on every play. And it looks like he was able to, milk out every ounce of talent from those guys, man. And we probably have 2 guys that'd be either both in the 1st round or 1st and 2nd round, guys. So we got to figure out who the hell is going to be this next coach in the line, because players are going to want to know who they're going to be coached by. But also saying this for players too, folks. Look, this is a position coach, and if you're at a really good school, you have to understand that the position coach is a job that usually has a lot of turnover, because if your school is really great, like Texas is trying to get to that, milestone, your position coaches are going to be highly wanted to get promotions, to go be DCs or assistant head coaches or head coaches, right? That's what you want. You want your guys to work themselves out of the current job that they have, right? And so that's kind of what you want. So if you're a player and you're coming only because of a position coach, that's not the right answer, because if your school is really humming and doing great things, then your position coaches are going to be plucked to be elevated and get better positions like coordinator positions and head coaching jobs, right? So look at a guy like Brennan Marion last year. We lost Marion after one season here. He was here for the 2022 season, um, and he got plucked to go be an OC. And now, he is on the Broyles list as one of the best OCs here in the country. He brought that go-go offense, out to Vegas, and he's done great things there. And he is going to be a head coach here pretty soon, right? I mean, that's on his path, right? Look at a guy like Stan Drayton. He was, just a running back coach here at Texas a few years back, and he parlays that from being the running back coach to the assistant head coach. Now he's the head coach at was it Temple, right? So when you have really good, coaches at a certain position, recruits understand that guy's probably not going to be there that long, because if he's that good at your position, then guess what? Other teams are going to want to see what he can do at the next level, right? So that will be interesting. So Victor says it looks like right turned us down, possibly. And also Vic says that with Harbaugh leaving, for the NFL, can we get Michigan's D-line coach along with some of the interior defense linemen? I actually put this in one of the chats that I'm in. But the funny thing about the Harbaugh situation is their defensive line coach, Elton? He's a alum, right? So he's a guy that is an alum there, at Michigan. And if Michigan gives Moore the head coaching job, then that's when you got to start looking at Moore's probably going to keep a lot of that staff there in place if he's offered that job and if he takes it. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and if I'm Moore, I'm not taking that head coaching job at Michigan. Michigan just won a national championship. A lot of their key players are not going to be there next year. JJ McCarthy's he's hitting the draft. Corum's hitting the draft. The starting wide receivers hitting the draft. They are returning some good pieces, on that line. However, if I'm Moore, I'm leaving Michigan with Harbaugh, and I'm going to the league, because Moore was a great OC at Michigan, but now this will give him, that like great opportunity to say that he's done it in the NFL as well, and then to make himself more marketable once he does decide to come down to the college ranks if he wants to do that. But if I'm Moore, I'm leaving, and if that happens, then maybe the floodgates open up, and then maybe that defensive line coach is a guy that doesn't stay at Michigan. But look, folks, he is a alum. I would love to have him. Lord have mercy, I would love to have him in those defensive line guys there at Michigan. But it's hard to pull guys from the school that they coached at, from the school that they played at, from the school that they went to school, probably met their wife at, their lifelong friends are alum, and they're in their ear too as well. You just won a national championship, and you might want to try to run it back. There's so many things that go into, that go into that equation. But in saying that, Vic, I would love to have Elton. Man. He's a bona fide stud at the defensive line, as far as coaching, and they got some great recruits over there. They got some great recruits, man. Ed Blake says, I think the Texans offered Wright a promotion, but still in the works. And that is possible. Like we said, he was the assistant coach on the D-line, but the head D-line coach is not there anymore. So maybe that is an option. Who knows? We'll see as more, as more news actually comes out about this to see exactly what's happening here. But as the title says here, folks, Texas, man, they are rebuilding that defensive line. Bringing in a Tio Savea, bringing in a Trey Moore on the line here in the portal this year, and then coupling that with Colin Simmons on the edge. Also coupling that, folks, with Alex January and Melvin Hills on the interior. For the 2024 class, and those guys going to be here on campus playing. But I like the addition of Savea. Savea brings in, like I said, some added depth. So we lose True Carter, losing, Sweat and Murphy as well. But having him in the fold with Collins and Broughton, and also, Aaron Bryan and this Adair Mitchell and Alex January's and Melvin Hills, and I think who else on the team? Is it Zach Swanson's still on the team, right? So mixing those guys in, with the talent that is already going to be here on campus is going to be big here for Texas. I think Texas still probably needs to get another, D lineman or two here in the spring when it comes to the portal, because we gotta like, no kidding, fortify that line, folks. The offensive line is great. I think we're set there. The defensive line, losing two, potential first round picks is going to be, hurtful. But to start off by getting a guy like Savea, who I think can be added depth here in his team, thanks to Johnny Nansen, man. Him coming over from Arizona and also bringing in some of those guys from his previous team, that's going to help out a lot. And I think on the recruiting side of the house, he's going to make it rain when it comes to that defensive line and that linebacker recruiting here at the University of Texas while he's here, especially as the co-DC and the linebacker coach. So all is not lost, folks. All is not lost. We are in a position now to do great things, like here at Texas. This offense is going to be electric, but we all understand that everything's won, folks, in the trenches, especially on the offense and and the defense as well. That offense can't be electric if the offensive line sucks. The defense cannot be electric if this defensive line is not up to par. And we got to see a lot of growth in whoever's going to start this year, whether it's Collins and Broughton or Collins and also Savea, or Broughton and Savea, whoever steps up and starts. We got to see a lot of development from these guys. And we have to understand that it might take a little time. It might take in the spring game in April, it might not be the prettiest of sight because we are losing two bona fide studs here. However, this might take some time into the fall. Well, not into the fall, but hopefully by the fall everything's solved. But this might take some time during the spring and the summer to make sure that this thing is worked out. And that's where the development piece is going to come in handy. And that's where we need to be able to solidify who the hell is going to coach our defensive line, man, because these guys need to be developed. And it's definitely necessary. So Vic says that those Samoan kids ball. Plus he's a Nansen guy, so I like to pick up. Yeah, same here, same here. Chicken 1515. This is my dude, Chicken, man. Anybody knows him, man. He's a Oklahoma guy, as you can see. But he goes, Nino, what's up, brother? Boomer Sooner. Hey, man. Shout out to Chicken, man. Look, I'll see you tonight too on the SEC Connect show. But folks, let's go into another sponsor right quick.
This episode is brought to you by Manscaped.com. Go to Manscaped.com, get yourselves 20% off and free worldwide shipping using the promo code NinosCorner. Manscaped is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. They just released their Lawnmower 4.0 fourth generation trimmer. Go to Manscaped.com, get yourselves 20% off and free worldwide shipping using the promo code NinosCorner.
All right, folks, we're back, man. So yeah. Also got another sponsor too, from was it Autograph. So you guys will see that coming up too here in a while. I'll just have that kind of situated here. I got to film a video for them too as well. But look here, folks, man, tell me what you think in the comments about Texas and their rebuild for the defensive line. You guys like it? Do you like, getting like a Tio Savea? Do you like the Moore pickup? Do you like the Lance Jackson pickup? I love the Lance Jackson pickup, folks. I don't think I've talked about it enough. I think he's going to be, a plus player here at Texas. But like I said, this portal has opened up things so much for, like not only Texas, but teams in general here in the portal. It's just you're able to address the need of concern right now and get some proven, talent to come here on campus. As much as we love these high school kids and, and everything, like they were just in prom 4 or 5 months before getting on the campus, right? So we don't know what they can do. Right. But I do know that a Savea is a guy who can play, and he will be able to give us some quality minutes, especially at 6'4", about 305, 310 pounds. Some quality minutes here. Is he going to be all SEC? Probably not. But he's going to be a guy that we can depend on, especially going down the stretch into the SEC. We saw what Troy Carter was able to do last year once he got healthy. So once he got healthy, he was able to, be a plus player in that last half of the season. And so I think if we can get Savea here on campus and ensure that he is healthy for the whole season, man, he's going to be a plus player here, hopefully for the long haul. So I'm excited about this pickup. Like I said, you couple that and, and more
with this 2024 class going into the SEC with Colin Simmons and you got Colin Simmons, you got Alex January, and you got Melvin Hills, and those are the guys that we're bringing in for the defensive line and the edge. We got Zena too coming as well. How can I forget Zena? Zena showed out in this All-Star game. He absolutely showed out, man. So those are the guys that you love to have on this team that are going to do great things here on this campus. I'm excited about it. I love what Texas has done through the portal. I love what Texas has also done when it comes to recruiting. I'm going to take one more comment for Chicken before I get out of here. What does Chicken say? He goes, have you realized that our Cowboys haven't won the Super Bowl since Switzer and Aikman were there, both Oklahoma boys? Man, get out of here, man. Switzer ran Aikman out of OU. He had to go all the way to California to ball because Switzer, he had that man playing option. And Switzer won with Jimmy Johnson's players, man. He ain't done nothing since he ain't do nothing with the talent that he had to bring up in there. Man, I don't want to hear that about no Switzer Chicken 15-15. But anyways, folks, man, that's all I got for today. Just leave a comment, comment, and subscribe to this video, folks. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about what Texas is doing when it comes to this rebuild here for the defensive line. I enjoy it, but also join in tonight, folks. SEC Connect with my brothers, man. Ty, Steven, Jay, and Chris will be on tonight at 7 o'clock, Central Standard Time, to talk about all things SEC content as well. But man, folks, appreciate it. Vic does have one last comment that I want to bring up. He says, heard we are taking at least 2 or 3 more portal guys for the line. Yes, that should be evident, especially with Texas kind of trending in the wrong direction when it comes to Jabbar Muhammad. Yes, it looks like I would definitely want more depth at that defensive line, especially with us losing 3 guys that played this year. Murphy, Sweat, and also Terrell Carter. Losing those 3 guys, we have got to solidify that defensive line. So that makes the most sense for us to take a few more guys here on the D-line. But folks, like always, man, put them horns up. Texas rebuilds the defensive line. Let's go get us a defensive line coach hopefully this week, folks. Put them horns up. Nino's Corner, we're out, and hook them.